comparative data. You used some national data on police per capita. But did you compared the national data to Multnomah County? Just to be clear, we don't actually police a portion of Multnomah County. We just police within the Portland boundaries. So let's sharpen that data so that we get the Portland only and not include that port. We've lost the fight in terms of incorporation.
Right.
So we're not going to blend Multnomah County and Portland anytime soon.
You already
But there's
do.
a big chunk of Multnomah County that
They bring their sheriffs down here all the time.
No.
Sheriff's Patrol.
You see,
That may change.
sure.
a little.
I mean, they're
Your
already
point is well
blended.
taken in terms of some of the quality of life crimes and how we get upstream on it. I couldn't help, as I was listening to the excellent presentation, that make a little plug for something. My office is working with Restore Oregon to find a home for the Jansen Beach Carousel. And Hank, maybe as a child you remember that, but it was lost and then found, and now it's being restored. It's probably going to end up near the Rose Garden. It may end up near OMSI. It could end up in the Lloyd district if someone thought, with appropriate investment, it was an amenity. But we've got this historic carousel that's looking for a home. Just put it on your radar. And Restore Oregon is leading the way in restoring it, and is looking for an appropriate home.
Here, give us some money and we'll give you a carousel.
I'd say give it to cop watchers. Let them have that damn.
No, we'd burn it.
You know what that historic carousel is probably worth?
Probably quite a bit.
Yeah, probably 100 to 500,000.
Easy.
Just to move horses along. You ever try to buy a carousel horse?
No.
Spendy. 5 to 10 grand each horse.
Neighborhoods and business districts, just the name. And I want people who may be watching at home to recognize Lloyd is a fabulous place to visit and shop. It's been my favorite. The Lloyd Centre has been my favourite mall since I got here 32 years ago, and in fact I shall be shopping there later on today. So yes, all over Portland we have some challenges, all over this country we have a lot of challenges, and it takes people who want to go shop and invest and play, populating a community to help make it safe also, and I think we all appreciate the efforts and the Blackmail Achievement and others for assisting in your patrols. But thank you for providing the programming in Holiday Park that has returned it to the community.
Yeah, we have a ways to go there, but we're working on it every day, and really these two really
Working on getting low income out of there as fast as they can.
And again, it's a coordinated effort. As I said, $1 million has been put into the park already over the last number of years.
Yeah, and a lot of volunteer time by 11:45 and others.
It is a terrific place to be.
Yes, and it has been and will be, so thank you very much for all that you're doing. And I was very impressed at all the boards that you're on. You go to as many meetings as we do, I think it sounds like.
It's very incestuous over there. And we all have a focus, and the focus is a community effort, community-wide effort to make it the place exactly to shop and live and work and all the rest of it.
Mayor, I have one more question.
Commissioner Fish.
Hank, I forget whether you said it was the state or the federal government that has been reluctant to join the BID. Which one was it?
Yeah, it's a state office building.
So, you have, and even though you have a 99% compliance rate, the state can bring you to 100%?
Sure.
Yeah. But if
It's been so long since they paid, we really kept them, we've stricken them from the list, quite honestly.
maybe that's a conversation we can have offline.
Sure.
Because clearly they reap the benefit of the
There's
investment.
no question about it.
And if you're at 99% compliance, it doesn't sound like their contribution would be that substantial anyway.
Well, it's a fairly large office building.
It's a big
that,
building.
would certainly add to our services,
Mhm.
absolutely. Absolutely. If it would, and it would be priced right along like the rest of the improvements in the neighborhood. So, yeah, we'd love to have dialogue, take it to Salem, no question.
Very good, gentlemen. Thank you. And I want to just underscore my thanks to you for working with EV Londonay and NAACP and having a very collaborative relationship there, finding space for them involved. I think that was a good step forward in working with the youth, specifically with regard to some of the issues in Holiday Park. And I want to encourage you to continue to engage in that community conversation. We very, very much appreciate your partnership. Thank you. So folks, we are not even on the regular agenda yet. We have at least 10 items on account after this. We're going to have 2 minutes of testimony of all items going forward. How many people do we have signed up for this item, Carla?
We have 7.
Very good. Please call up the first item.
Robert Patterson, Charles Bridgecrane Johnson, and Maggie.
Bridge Gray.
What's this agenda item?
Good morning again, Commissioners. For the record, Charles
The
Bridgecrane
BID,
Johnson,
Lloyd.
and
Have you noticed they're all leaving?
Commissioner
Oh, yeah.
who made a complaint about per capita policing. And I hope that all of you, whenever we have these struggles about neighborhoods asking for policing, especially when it's in the context of the business, I think it's kind of a shame that I have to work harder with Dan Handelman to give you some cheat sheets. Because the first thing you need to know is that all policing data is skewed because New York City has a huge, highly funded, double the national ratio police number. So that should almost be thrown out. We should compare to peer cities at around 600,000. Also, it's silly to talk about policing numbers without having matching crime data. So if the Lloyd district is actually having less crime per citizen, not necessarily less crime per dollar of economic activity, our police resources should be encountered where individuals are having the most trouble actually suffering violence or property loss.
Yeah.
So definitely, and they have their own district attorney's office. I'm sure with a little bit of goodwill on everybody's part, we can increase safety, and especially that weird, the weird thing of repeat shoplifters. That really talks to the structure of our society. If we have people who are getting released on conditional release, that they don't go back to the Lloyd Center, and then we're not managing to get the district attorney's office to flag those people to have an extended holiday that they qualify for contempt of court. That's where the problem is, not in the budget of the city of Portland. No amount of budget activity by the police commissioner or anybody can fix that sort of problem. And really, the Lloyd Center, as the Ashford gentleman mentioned, is not really even an area of problems. It's an area of success that we're trying to hone. It was great to shop there during the holidays with many of the spaces filled with local people who normally couldn't make the threshold of mall rent. I don't know if Amanda had a chance to shop there in the past 30 days, but there were great people there. So let's work on the positives without thinking that it's really in any way connected to the police department's budget. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I guess I want to talk about the discriminatory behavior of the private security companies. When I was at Fred Meyer, there was a obviously mentally ill guy who comes there frequently, and the security guys there were talking about how much they hated him after he left, and then they proceeded to have a conversation about what long guns they owned and the caliber of bullets they used in them and wanted to sell, and the long guns they wanted to buy and the caliber of bullet they would need to use for them. I find that very offensive. Also, Pioneer Square, the security officers there dressed very similar to state troopers. I think that's wrong. They put their mall time way down at the bottom of the glass in white, where in tiny, tiny lettering where nobody can read it. So I had security coming up and talking to me after I had bought an ice cream and, was sitting at a table reading a book to tell me I had to leave. I had no idea they closed at 8 o'clock. 9 o'clock is usually about the times malls tend to close. And I just think there's this, elderly, disabled, transgender, there's a lot of discrimination by these private security companies. So.
I've got to say thanks to Everbright in China and EB USA in Dallas for your local investment.
Next three are Dan Handelman, Diana Ogas, and Joe Walsh.
I'm Dan Handelman, reporting Cop Watch, and participated in a news conference a few months ago that was headed up by the people working on the Homeless Bill of Rights. And it was about business improvement districts and how they create their own kind of things and create laws that are exclusionary and generally focused on people who are houseless. I was glad to hear the only mention of houselessness in that presentation was really about the unfortunate houseless person who seemed to have been attacked by people. And there seemed to be some compassion for that person from the business people who came up here. But
Well, there's also their support for right to drink.
okay, thank you, Commissioner Fish. But my point is that we say frequently, and specifically around BID here in downtown Portland, that it shouldn't be that people with more money get more attention from law enforcement. That we all pay taxes and we all get treated equally. Chief Outlaw was interviewed in Street Roots, and she said there's no difference in how things are enforced. But my understanding from reading the paperwork, and I kind of didn't read it in as much detail as usual, but is that there's some kind of facility that the police are allowed to use to write their paperwork that the Lloyd Business District gives them. And it's like if a rich person set aside a room in their house and said, I want the police protecting my neighborhood more, so why don't you come here and write your reports? It really isn't appropriate to build that kind of special rights for some people because they have more money. Moreover, I'm glad that Mr. Johnson already addressed the issue about spending more money on more police, because that's not sure going to solve our problems. The U.S. government spends all our money on the military, and this is partly why we don't have money for housing or jobs, and that's why people commit crimes. And certainly, it's this council's responsibility to make sure that we're not overspending on law enforcement. And I'm glad again that Commissioner Fritz pointed out that we have empty positions at the police bureau. We also have these unarmed officers that are hopefully going to start doing more than just push paperwork around, but maybe could also help people like folks in the Lloyd district.
Yeah. Lloyd, go Lloyd. $5 in the jar. If I could just say, yes, the PS3, the Public Safety Service Coordinators will most certainly be in the community. And so thank you for that. Morning.
Good morning.
What's your name, ma'am?
I apologize. My name is Diana, and I am part the Holiday Park is pretty much my backyard. I frequent this area on a regular basis, walking from my home through Holiday Park to the Lloyd Center. It's one of my favorite places. I see so much life and so much of Portland and even people from Washington, traveling to just be a part of this community. In the summertime, I see all the things that Holiday Park has to offer its community. However, since winter, it's been lacking. And with the people who are currently out of place, who are homeless and don't have places to go, Holiday Park is a desirable place for a lot of reasons. It's close to public transportation. It's close to the Lloyd Center, which is a place of warmth. There's all sorts of things that it can offer. And so with there being a challenge on filling spaces for law enforcement to help, I noticed that as the Lloyd ESD was going over their efforts of what they are doing for our community, I wonder if maybe they can look at their budget to provide for those who are misplaced. Because in the summertime, there is a lot that they offer our community, but the wintertime is really when it's crucial. It's when it's needed. And, there are so many financial efforts that Lloyd ESD is providing, and I think that instead of looking for more money for the police, I think that we can look within, work together, as they said, and work together as a community to make room. Also, I just wanted to say that the carousel from Jansen Beach, I remember that, and I think that Holiday Park or Lloyd Center could really benefit from the carousel. So, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Morning.
Good morning. My name is Joe Walsh. I represent Individuals for Justice. I was really struck by the just outlandish information that was presented to you. Even Commissioner Fish picked up on the data that was used, 600,000 versus, what is it, 800,000 in the county that we have now. That's a huge difference, you know, and that was done on purpose. That was a lie. You were lied to, but it was a